Well, good evening there to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Manning from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I want to thank all of my loyal viewers for being with me here tonight. It is now time for my college basketball podcast wrap-up show. I've got a lot to talk about here in the next half hour, 45 minutes. I plan on being with you. Please have your questions and your comments ready. I'll be more than happy to take them during the show. You guys are going to be a great group. I'm going to be looking forward to tonight's show, and we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to go right out of the gate. With the game that you saw earlier tonight, number 12 North Carolina just dominated Gonzaga 103-90 tonight. Gonzaga last week they were the AP top. They were number 1 in the AP top 25 poll, but after 2 bad losses to Tennessee and tonight to North Carolina, the frustration is already there. But let's think about this. North Carolina flat out dominated tonight. Before I'll get to those numbers in a second, but first, Luke Mayo, 20 points, 16 rebounds tonight. Cameron Johnson, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Kobe White, 15.6 assists. 7th Wood came off the bench tonight, put up 14 big points and 4 rebounds tonight. For Gonzaga in a losing effort, Zach Norville Jr., 21 points. Josh Perkins, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Rui Hachimura, 17.7 rebounds. That was it for him. And Brandon Clark, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Now, how was this game decided? North Carolina flat out dominated. Listen to this. From the field, North Carolina was 35 of 64. That's 54.7%. From three-point land, how about 13 of 25 for 52%? How about 20 of 25 from the free throw line for 80%? They out-rebounded Gonzaga tonight 42-21. 18 assists, and despite the fact they turned the ball over 23 times, they got the job done. But let's think about this for Gonzaga. Their numbers in the field weren't too bad. 32-63 for 50.8%. The three-pointers are what killed them. They tried to go for the three all the time. Only 8 of 22 for 36.4%. 15 to 23 from the free throw line for 78.3%. That's not too bad. 21 rebounds, 17 assists, and 14 turnovers for Gonzaga tonight. Now, tonight, North Carolina gave us a reminder that the North Carolina offense has firepower, but they got to work on the turnover issue. A season-high 23 turnovers turned into 29 points for Gonzaga tonight. As for Gonzaga, it's another disappointment. 2 straight non-conference losses. They're going to be lucky to be in the top 10 after this performance here tonight. And I'm going to tell you something. Gonzaga's I wouldn't be surprised they drop from the 2 line to the 3 line when the next bracketology report comes out. North Carolina impressed me tonight. They played their guts out. They played their hearts out today and tonight, and I was never so impressed with the North Carolina Tar Heels. The UNC coach Roy Williams said, I got a team. We got a lot of firepower, and we did what we had to do. Gonzaga coach Mark Few said, I don't know what to say. Mark Few didn't have much to say after this game, and who can blame him? After getting shut down, after losing a close one on Sunday to Tennessee, and then getting beat 103-90, what else can you say? I mean, North Carolina, they dominated tonight. Shot almost 55% from the field, 52% from three-point land. They were 80% at the free throw line. They out-rebounded Gonzaga 42-21. There's not much more you can say, except what a victory tonight for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And I'll be coming back to the Tar Heels in a second when I hand out my Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Awards. So stay tuned for that. Now, let's get to it. Next game. Number 17 Villanova versus number 1 Kansas. This game was a gut check. This game was a battle. This had Final Four written all over it from last year. But let's think about this for a second. Kansas took this game 74-71. Dedrick Lawson, 28 points, 12 rebounds. LeGerald Fick, 29.7 rebounds. Devon Dotson, 11 points, and he came off the bench in a very big way. For Villanova, Phil Booth, 29 points. Eric Pascal, 17 points, 4 rebounds. And Colin Gillespie, 15 points. There wasn't much to brag about for Villanova here on this day. Kansas, 23. Now, when you hear these numbers for Kansas, you'll figure out how they won. Kansas, 23 of 46. They shot 50% from the field. From three-point land, Kansas was only 5 of 15 for 33.3%. But this game could have been decided at the free throw line. They won 23 of 30 for 75.7%. Rebounds. Kansas out-rebounded Villanova 35-26. Oh, excuse me. And Kansas did have 9 assists, but they did turn the ball over 14 times. There was a concern about that. This game was decided in the field. Villanova only went 24-59 for 40.7%. They were only 8 of 28 from the free three-point line. That's only 28.6%. And this is despite the fact they went 15 of 19 from the free throw line for 78.9% tonight. You know, Villanova coach Jay Wright said it best. It's a tough place to play. It's a tough environment. We just lost, and we just couldn't do anything. It's a tough place to play. And Jay Wright is absolutely correct. Here's a case in point. In the second half, Villanova only went 3 of 15 from three-point land for the second half of the game. And that was just absolutely unbelievable. And also for Kansas. Kansas coach Bill Self said, we're unstoppable when we're number one in our own building. And I was impressed with our players. And also, too, for Kansas, this is the 39th straight victory as the number one seed at Allen Fieldhouse. I figured I'd throw that in there. And on top of that today, there were a couple of celebrity sightings. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes was in attendance. Hall of Fame third baseman, former Kansas City Royal legend and third baseman George Brett was in attendance here today. That could have been a real big help. But despite all that, Kansas is still 1-2 against Villanova from last year in the Final Four. What can you say? Kansas is still number one, and I don't think nobody's going to knock them off. I really don't. But let me say this, though. Anything can happen, and it usually does. But this game was a battle all day long. And I'll say that now. Now, let's move on. Old Dominion and Syracuse. Old Dominion shocked Syracuse today 68-62 at the Carrier Dome. B.J. Stiff, 15 points, 10 rebounds. He had a double-double today. Xavier Green, he stepped up today with 15 points. Marquise Goodwin, he had 11 points in the ball game today for Old Dominion. For Syracuse, Tyus Battle, 23 points, 3 rebounds. And Elijah Hughes, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. How in the world did Old Dominion shock Syracuse today? Well, I'm looking at the numbers. Old Dominion, 23 of 50 for 46%. They shot very well from the field today. And despite the fact they went 9 of 26 from three-point line, that's 34.6%. Very impressive. And at the free throw line, they were 13 of 20 for 65%. And Old Dominion out-rebounded Syracuse today 38-33. And despite the fact that Old Dominion turned the ball over 18 times, they still won. This game, the Syracuse-Old Dominion game, was decided in the field. Syracuse only shot 16 of 48 for 33.3% today. They were only 8 of 22 for 36.4%. They were 22 of 34 from the free throw line for 64.7%. This game was decided in the field. 16 of 48. Come on, Boeheim, you guys are supposed to be the big bad orange. We didn't see that today, and Old Dominion let them know it. Old Dominion pulled off an upset like you wouldn't believe. This was a shocker, and nobody didn't see that coming. But you think Old Dominion's a pushover? Not really. They had 6 straight wins. They went on a 13-2 run in the second half. And I'm going to tell you right now, Syracuse is struggling because when you got your best shooting guard in Frank Howard, who's not been himself, it tends to be frustrating. Here's the thing with Frank Howard. He's only been averaging 4 points per game, 1.2 rebounds per game, and 3.8 assists per game. If you don't have a guard who can contribute, if Frank Howard doesn't start contributing really soon, Syracuse ain't going nowhere. And O'Shea Brissett, he only had 9 points himself today. He's only 3 of 11 from the field. I mean, there's some blame to go around today for Syracuse's performance. I mean, you go 16 of 48 from the field for 33.3%. You got O'Shea Brissett, 9 points, only 3 of 11 from the field. Frank Howard's not been himself. He hasn't been contributing much. He's only averaging 4 points per game. He can't contribute. They're not going anywhere quick. Sorry about that. I had to pick up some papers here. But I will say this, though. Syracuse, I don't know what's been going on with them. They need a wake-up call, and they need one badly. Or otherwise, if Frank Howard doesn't wake up and get going, Syracuse is going to be an afterthought this season. I hate to say it. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I do. But I got a bad feeling I'm going to be right on this one. And you'll find out why. As the season goes along, if push comes to shove. All right, let's move on. Number 15, Ohio State barely survived Bucknell today. This game was crazy, and you'll find out here in a second. For Ohio State, Caleb Wesson, 22 points, a career high, 10 rebounds. C.J. Jackson, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Keyshawn Woods had to come off the bench with 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists himself. But I'll give Bucknell credit. Ari Tomer, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Kimball McKenzie, 13 points, 5 rebounds. Give him credit. Jimmy Sotos, 12.7 rebounds, 5 assists. This game, right from the word go, was just unbelievable. I mean, I watched some of that game, and I just couldn't believe how much Bucknell was staying with them. And Ohio State coach Chris Holtmann put it at best. They almost got embarrassed by a smaller team, but the size, by a team smaller than them. And that would have been humiliating today. But let's think about this for Ohio State. They shot 27 of 56 for 48.2%. From three-point land, they shot 6 of 15 for 40%. Both teams were 13 of 18 for 72.2% in the free throw department. Rebounds. Ohio State barely took that 39-29. That's how they won. And despite the fact that Ohio State turned the ball over 13 times and almost gave it away, they barely survived Bucknell today. But let's think about this for Bucknell. And I'll say this now. They put up a fight. And I admit it. They put up a fight. They went on a 15-2 run to close the first half. They had a 9-2 run to start the second half. They went on a 10-2 run late in the game. But the size was the difference, like I said. And Bucknell is a smaller team. Give Bucknell credit where credit is due. They stayed with a Big Ten team like Ohio State. But I'll tell you right now, if Bucknell would have got embarrassed, if Ohio State would have got embarrassed by Bucknell, I would not have been in that locker room. Because if I would have been Chris Holtmann, I would have gone on a Bobby Knight tirade. I really would have. Because there is no reason why Now, let me say this. Bucknell is a great basketball team. Don't let the 4-4 record fool you. And Ohio State almost did. But Ohio State barely survived. And I'm going to tell you right now, when we get into the meat of the conference schedule and they're playing teams like this close, they can't do that. They really can't. And I'm not going to go any further because Ohio State barely squeaked by. They have Youngstown State on Tuesday. As far as Bucknell, they have St. Mary's on Tuesday night. And we'll have to see how the Buckeyes do going forward. Now, let's move on to the next game. Western Michigan versus number 5 Michigan. Michigan almost got embarrassed today. But they did come out on top 70-62. But I'll tell you right now, give Western Michigan some credit. Michael Flowers, 31.7 rebounds, 9 of 15 from the field. Jared Brittany, I think he only had like maybe 13, 14 points. I forgot to write his numbers down, and I do apologize for that. But anyway, for Michigan, Charles Matthews, 25 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for him. Xavier Simpson, 15 points, 5 rebounds today. Jordan Poole, 14 points, 3 rebounds. Where was this game decided? This game was decided by the three-pointer. Michigan, they did go 24-54 from the field. That's 44.4%. Western Michigan, however, went 21-46 for 45.7% from the field. It was the three-pointer that decided it. Michigan went 7 of 18 from three-point land for 38.9%. Western Michigan, on the other hand, they only went 6 of 19 for 31.6% from three-point land. Free throws. Western Michigan went 14 of 20 from the free throw line, while Michigan went 15 of 25. That's 70% for Western Michigan and only 60% for Michigan. Both teams had 32 rebounds today. Western Michigan only had 4 assists, while Michigan had 8. Turnovers. Western Michigan turned the ball over 16 times. That's another thing that really killed them right there. You turn that ball over 16 times, you're not going to win a ball game. I don't care who you are. Michigan coach John Beilein said after the game, Western Michigan played us close. They're a tough basketball team. Don't let that Mid-America Conference status fool you. Because I'll tell you right now, those guys deserve a lot of credit today. And they played their hearts out. And I'm not going to lie to you. And Western Michigan at one point going into the half had a 24-19 lead. They led for a while. And I'll give you that. And that was a battle. And this was another unexpected battle for the Big Ten today. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing goes going down the road. Okay, let's move on. I want to talk about the 2 games from the Crossroads Classic over in Indianapolis. Let's start it out with Purdue, Notre Dame. Notre Dame beat Purdue today 88-80, but they got some bad news along the way. Rex Pfluger. He did have 7 points, 10 assists in the ball game. However, Pfluger had to leave the game. With an apparent injury. He's going to have to find, but also too, he did get some bad news. He had to leave the game, and he will have an MRI next week. It's a possible torn ACL, and it didn't look good. This is from Coach Mike Bray. And I'll tell you right now, there's some concerns for Notre Dame, but the rest of the Notre Dame team stepped up. John Mooney, 21.6 rebounds. TJ Gibbs, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. DJ Harvey, 19 points, 5 rebounds. Dane Goodwin, 11 points, 4 rebounds today. Where was this game? Now also for Purdue, Carson Edwards, 27 points today. Ryan Klein, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Trevion Williams, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Where was this game decided today? Oh boy, I don't even know where to start. Notre Dame, 26 of 50 from the field for 52%. On the 3 ball, 11 of 21 for 52.4%. 25 of 29 from the free throw line, 86.2%. Purdue, they won 30 of 70 for 42.9%. 9 of 29 from the 3-point line for 31%, and 11 of 18 from the free throw line. That's only 61.1%. Now Purdue did out-rebound Notre Dame 40-30. And Notre Dame took the assist 20-17. And despite 9 turnovers for Notre Dame to produce 7, they still won. Now the bad news on Rex Pfluger, he did have to leave the game, a possible torn ACL. He'll have an MRI probably on Monday. And Notre Dame head coach Mike Breeze said after the game, this is a huge win for us and snapped a 2-game losing streak. They had a tough stretch of 5 non-conference games. They went 3-2. That was huge. As far as Purdue coach Matt Painter said, I'm disappointed in the loss. We can't beat the ACC worth nothing. And he's right. Purdue is 0-3 against ACC schools, and they need to find some help for Carson Edwards, or they will continue to struggle. Carson Edwards, he's shooting the basketball very well, but everybody else is not. Let's think about this. Ryan Klein did have 15 points. Trevion Williams did have 10. But they've been having some struggles all season finding some help for Carson Edwards to shoot the basketball. And I'm going to tell you right now, if this keeps up, Purdue may be an afterthought. Because when they get into conference play in the Big Ten, if they get some bad losses, they may be out of the tournament if they don't get going right now. But also, too, what will happen with Notre Dame without Rex Pfluger? Only time will tell that. But I will say this, though. It's going to be a very interesting season to see how things go from there. And I'm going to tell you now, if Notre Dame can keep playing like this, they may get an NCAA tournament bid. If Purdue continues to struggle, they're going to be an afterthought in the Big Ten race. And that's all I'm going to say about that at the moment. And I'm not going to go any further. All right. The other game in the Indiana Crossroads Classic. Indiana versus Butler. Indiana took this game 71-68 on a Ron Fizzy game-winning three at the buzzer. This was a huge win today for Indiana. Juwan Morgan, 35 points, 3 rebounds, 12 of 14 from the field, 4-6 from three-point land, and a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Romeo Langford, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 11 from the field today. For Butler, Sean McDermott, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 7 of 13 from the field, 6 of 10 from three-point land. Kamir Baldwin, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 of 19 from the field today. Yes, I grant you that this game was decided by a Rob Fizzy game-winning three at the buzzer. I will grant you that. However, here's some other stuff you need to think about. I said this last night on my podcast show, on my podcast pregame show last night. Indiana did not need to get themselves into a free throw contest with Butler. And I'll tell you what, it was the best thing I think that Indiana could have ever seen happen. Here's why. Indiana, 27 of 52 from the field, 51.9%. From three-point land, they went 9 of 21 for 42.9%. Now, Indiana only had 10 trips to the free throw line today, 10 free throw chances today. They nailed 8 for 80%. They out-rebounded Butler today, 33-31. And despite 15 turnovers and having 18 assists, Indiana still took the victory today. Butler went 28 of 55 from the field for 43.1%. Now, Butler went 10 of 25 from three-point land. That's 40%. Butler only had 2 free throws all game. That was it, and they made both of them. And they did have 10 turnovers. And I'll tell you right now, Indiana deserved a lot of credit for this game here today. Indiana coach Archie Miller said, "We were lucky. We've survived 2 games in a row. It's come down to the last second." And I'll tell you what, these guys, I don't know how they do it. And I'll tell you right now, Rob Fizzy's probably going to be the new big man on campus, at least for the week, because he gave us a big win over Butler. Now, Indiana hosts Central Arkansas on Tuesday. As for Butler, they never trailed in the game until Morgan hit 2 free throws with 3.5 minutes left. And I'll tell you right now, they picked the worst possible time to go on a scoring drought. Here's what I mean. In the final 9.5 minutes, they only scored 7 points. That was it for Butler in the final 9 minutes. The Indiana Crossroads Classic is over. And what a battle it was. Both games decided. And I'll tell you right now, this was a fun day. Now, one last game, and then I'm going to hand out my basketball Hardwood awards. Rutgers, Seton Hall. Seton Hall beat Rutgers 72-66. Miles Powell, 28 points, 3 rebounds. Sandro Monmouthakis, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce his last name anyway. He had 15 points, 9 rebounds. For Rutgers, the highest scorer was Paul Kiss off the bench. 16 points, 3 assists today. Eugene Omorai, 15 points, 8 rebounds. Geo Baker, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. That was it for him today. Where was this game decided? A couple things. Seton Hall, 20 of 49 from the field for 40.8%. They went 11 of 27 today from three-point land and shot 40% from there. Free throws, 21 of 32 for 65.6%. For Rutgers, 25 of 79, not very good, for 31.6%. They only went 6 of 29 from three-point land for 20.7%. Rutgers only went 10 of 15 for 66.7% at the free throw line. Now, Rutgers did out-rebound Seton Hall today, 52-38. Both teams did have 11 turnovers, and Seton Hall had 14 assists to Rutgers 13. And in this ball game today, things got a little chippy, as it usually is in an in-state rivalry game like this. The referees issued 5 technical fouls today. It got a little chippy. There's some trash talk as usual when it's a rivalry game. But also, too, Seton Hall coach Kevin Willard said, we're coming off of a big upset win over Kentucky, and we beat Rutgers. We've received one vote in the AP Top 25. He was pretty happy about that. Rutgers coach Steve McKill said, I'm just disappointed in our team. This is the first time this season we've lost back-to-back games. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm disappointed in our team. We had a chance, but we gave it away. Right now, Rutgers is pretty weak. The whole Big East Conference is a little bit weak, but Rutgers is a little weak in the Big Ten. This game did get chippy, but Seton Hall came out in the end, and the Garden State Trophy did come back to Seton Hall University. So our congratulations to the Seton Hall Pirates for that. They beat Rutgers 72-66. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Awards. Now, let's get started on let's hand out the awards. I got, from the North Carolina-Gonzaga game, I got 4 awards to hand out. Luke Mail, 20.16 rebounds, 6 of 10 from the field, a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Cameron Johnson, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 12 from the field, 6 of 8 from three-point land. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Kobe White, 15 points, 6 assists, 5 of 13 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point land. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Seventh Wood came off the bench, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 6 of 9 from the field. He had 2 big three-pointers. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. For the Villanova Kansas contest, I got a couple of them to hand out. I got 3 to hand out. Deidre Clausen, 28 points, 12 rebounds, 10 of 15 from the field, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. Deidre Clausen, you just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. LeGerald Vick, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 9 of 15 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point land, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. You, sir, you just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Devon Dotson, 11 points, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from the field. You, sir, you just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. For the Old Dominion Syracuse contest, I've got 3 awards to hand out. BJ Stiff, 15 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for you. 10 of 11 from the free throw line, may I add. You, sir, you just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Xavier Green, 15 points, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point land. That was huge down the stretch. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Marquise Godwin, 11 points, 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point land. I'm going to give you a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award for getting the upset over Syracuse today. For the Bucknell, Ohio State game, I've got 3 awards to hand out. Caleb Wesson, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, had a double-double today, 6 of 11 from the field, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. C.J. Jackson, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He was big down the stretch. You, sir, you just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Keyshawn Woods came off the bench, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Now, For the Michigan-Western Michigan contest, I'm going to hand out 4 awards, and I'll explain one here in a second. Charles Matthews, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 11 of 16 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Xavier Simpson, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point land. Keep that in mind. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Jordan Poole, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point land. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Now, I am going to give one to a Western Michigan player because he worked his heart out today. Michael Flowers, 31 points, a career high, 7 rebounds, 9 of 16 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point land, and 7 of 11 from the free throw line. In a losing effort, and I rarely do this, but in a losing effort, I'm going to give Michael Flowers a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award because he played his heart out today. Western Michigan almost scared Michigan today. They kind of spooked him a little bit. Okay, for the Notre Dame Purdue contest, I've got 4 awards to hand out. Actually, I'm going to go 3. John Mooney, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from the three-point land, and 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. TJ Gibbs, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 5 from three-point land, and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. DJ Harvey, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from three-point land, and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, Mr. Harvey. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Now, for the Indiana Butler contest, I've got 3 awards to hand out. Juwan Morgan, 35 points, 3 rebounds, 12 of 14 from the field, 4 of 6 from three-point land, and 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Romeo Langford, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 of 6, 6 of 11 from the field. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. And the other Hardwood Award winner is going to be Rob Finzi. With the game-winning 3 at the buzzer, I'm going to hand him a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award for getting a big victory and hitting the 3 at the buzzer to beat Butler here today. And now, last but not least, Seton Hall Rutgers. I got 2 awards to hand out. The first award, Miles Powell, 28 points, 3 rebounds, 8 of 17 from the field, 6 of 12 from three-point land, and 6 of 6 at the free throw line. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Sandro Veshalia. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but anyway. 15 points, 9 rebounds, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point land. Congratulations to the both of you gentlemen from Seton Hall. You gentlemen have just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Now here's the question that most people are asking me. What are these Hardwood Awards worth? They're basically just worth a pat on the back and a great job and an attaboy. That's all these awards are worth. But hey, I want to recognize these guys for all their hard work. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts on this night. Just like last Saturday, most of these games today had March Madness written all over them. North Carolina destroyed Gonzaga. I'm sure the new bracketology report comes out, there's going to be a change in that. Kansas Villanova. This was a classic. Kansas barely survived in the end. 74-71. Old Dominion. Could they possibly move up in the next bracketology report after they knocked off Syracuse? There's a question there. What about Ohio State? Will they stay where they at? Will they stay where they're at? Or will they drop as a result of this close game to Bucknell? And Bucknell they took Ohio State to the limit today. Michigan, will they stay on the one line or will they drop as a result of the fairly close game against Western Michigan? Now Michigan is undefeated. Keep that in mind. Notre Dame. Has Notre Dame found their way back into the tournament field after a big win over Purdue? But with Rex Pfluger injured, that could change. Stay tuned. What about Indiana and Butler? Indiana may have solidified themselves and moving up in the next bracketology report, and Butler could drop. Butler could be in danger of being one of the last 4 buys in, or the last 4 into the field. We'll have to wait and see on that. Seton Hall. Has the Seton Hall Pirates found their way back into the tournament field after 2 huge wins? We'll have to wait and see on that. But I will say this. All these games today, almost all of them had March Madness mentality written all over it. If this keeps up like this down the stretch, it's going to get crazy. And the bottom line is, excuse me, I've had a long day. Anyway, I will say this now. Last Saturday was the most crazy Saturday there ever was. This Saturday ranks almost up there. Folks, we're still in the heart of the non-conference schedule. But wait until January when conference play starts. Then we're going to see which conference is the best and who's the weak. But I'm going to tell you now, the Big Ten, as it stands right now, they would have 10 teams in the tournament field if the tournament were to start tomorrow. The ACC would have 8. The Big Ten and the ACC are still very strong. The Big East, however, is kind of weak. And I'm talking about Villanova. I'm also talking a little bit about Seton Hall. Yes, Seton Hall got a quality win against Kentucky last Saturday. Villanova's dropped 2 straight. One of the Penn Quakers on Wednesday night, and then they lose a close one to Kansas. The strongest team and the number 1 team in the Big East right now is St. John's. The St. John's Red Storm, after all those years of struggles. Providence, they're having some struggles too. They lost their number 2 scorer for the season with injury. Villanova, the defending national champions, they've lost 4. They've already lost 4 games already, and we're still in December. That's not very good. Jay Wright's got some work to do. Bottom line. What about Marquette? Marquette, their resume may have helped themselves get into the tournament field. Creighton, they've had some struggles. I think they're one of the last 4 into the field. But I will say this though, it's still December. But wait till January when conference play begins. Then we'll separate the men from the boys, as like they always say in college basketball. And I will say this now. It's not going to get any. You think this is going to settle down when they get into January? It's only going to get. It's just going to get more crazy. And I got a feeling the Big Ten is going to be the conference to watch in college basketball this season. And a lot of people have said, if Kansas doesn't win it, look for somebody out of the Big Ten or the ACC to take it all. Because right now, the Big 12, outside of Kansas, is weak, with the exception of maybe Oklahoma. The Big East is weak as a whole, and I am including the defending national champion Villanova Wildcats. The SEC, their only strong team is Tennessee. So we'll wait and see what happens come tournament time. And I'll be watching the bracketology reports when it comes out. And we'll have more of an idea where it's going to go when it gets closer to tournament time. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning, Manning. All you have to do is type my name down, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you'll see all the sports videos I have done so far. Thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. You guys are a great group, and thank you so much for being with me. And my next YouTube video will probably be Monday or Tuesday. I haven't decided yet when the new bracketology report comes out, and I'll probably have something on that next Friday night. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me. You guys are a great group. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and thank you.